Thank you for joining us today on A Road to Recovery, presented by Addiction Recovery Care. I'm Vanessa Keaton, and I know when I needed treatment over 12 years ago, access to treatment was hard to come by. Today I have with me Jeremy Brown. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about your experience with finding treatment.
Well, I know in 2008, when I first began with addiction, there were very limited options. Things have really changed drastically in the last 5 to 10 years. There's 24/7 hotlines, there's access to treatment on weekends, evenings. Things weren't like that when I was going through addiction.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about what it's like getting someone into treatment today for you.
The process is fairly easy, Vanessa. Basically, somebody can either contact me, our intake line, or a community liaison, and you can be placed in treatment immediately.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Wouldn't that have been nice all those years ago?
It would have been fantastic, yes.
Yeah, I know. It was like there weren't enough treatment facilities and there was huge wait lists. And, we know that when someone decides that they need help, whether it's self-motivation or motivated by family, courts, whatever it may be, that can oftentimes be a fleeting thought.
It can. There are a lot of roadblocks to getting into treatment. There's transportation barriers, there's insurance barriers, legal barriers, and I think one of my jobs as a community liaison and what we do at ARC is we try to remove those barriers and make getting into treatment as easy as possible.
Yeah, and I see that every day. You don't have to have a ride to treatment today.
Right.
We will send someone to come and get you, and I think that alone has changed the scope of allowing people to get help.
It has, definitely.
Yeah. So Jeremy, I know that you work so hard every day to helping people get into treatment.
Yes.
So tell me where that passion comes from.
So a lot of the passion comes from my own experience with getting myself into treatment. I identified in 2008 that I had a substance abuse problem. I looked around a little bit for help, but it seemed like all there were in the area were outpatient facilities, which was not appropriate for me at the time. I needed strong residential treatment. I sort of went, through the process of addiction for several years, and honestly, I got to a point where I didn't know where to look or what to do. I was fortunate enough at the time that there was a legal intervention, that I had somebody, I wouldn't want to say force, but like help me get into treatment.
Yeah.
I went to Recovery Point of Huntington, which was fantastic for me. For myself, I needed structure, and Recovery Point provided that structure. It introduced me to a support group, and it helped me learn tools that I still use to this day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was definitely encouraged to go to treatment through the
Yep.
legal system too,
Yes.
so I can completely relate to that. And that structure, that is huge in someone's life, because I know, in addiction, I had no structure. I did everything when I wanted to, and no one was telling me what to do. I was living life on my terms, and I was a mess.
Yes.
Yeah, so having that structure in my life and just having to go to bed at a certain time and having to get up on a certain time, and to make sure that I had the accountability in my life that I needed to be able to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other big thing treatment helped me with was when I was in addiction, obviously I didn't know anybody in recovery. Everybody I was with were in addiction, or they were family members who didn't understand addiction. So what that did was it placed me in an environment around other people in recovery. I was able to see people that were examples of people in recovery, and it gave me hope to know that that could be me if I follow this path.
Absolutely. Our stories are so powerful, and
Yes.
they're meant to be heard. People who are hopeless find hope in what we have to say.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Vanessa.
And back to you guys in the studio.